I'm Jace. I have sex addiction and I work with a bunch of other people who do too, because there are a lot of us. Is there 12-step recovery for sex addiction? And is that just a place to hook up? That is what we are going to be talking about in today's video. But before we do, make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell button so that you get alerts when new videos come out. And you can stay in the loop by going to my website and signing up for the newsletter. There's a link for that below, and kick it with us after the video because I've got a free resource for you that is going to help in this area. So let's answer those questions that we have asked. Is there 12-step recovery for sex addiction the way there is for alcohol addiction? Like Alcoholics Anonymous is a household name, right? Most people know about that. If you have a problem with drinking, with alcohol, people will say, well, you got to go to AA, right? Does that exist for sex addiction? Yes, it does. There is a 12-step meeting for everything. The only thing there is not a 12-step meeting for that there actually probably should be is 12-step meetings, because we can get a little crazy with the 12-step meetings. We'll talk about in another video the pros and cons of 12-step and whether it's something that I recommend and why. But in this one, let's just talk about, do they exist? Yes. In fact, there are many programs in 12-step that focus on this area of addiction. They have different flavors, they have different personalities, they have different maybe principles or guiding things that go along with them. They all use the same structure of the steps that come from Alcoholics Anonymous from way back in the day in the 30s when that was created. And so many programs have spiraled off of that. So yes, there's Sex Addicts Anonymous, there's Sexaholics Anonymous, there's Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, there's compulsive sexual disorder anonymous. I don't know if that one's around anymore. There's Recovering Couples Anonymous as well, and potentially others, but those are the main ones. And they kind of, like I said, have different flavors to them. And the different meetings within them will also have different flavors and personalities as well, and maybe different focus areas. So you can Google any of those to see if they might be a fit for you. And again, we'll talk in another video about 12-step more specifically, but let's get to the question that a lot of people ask when they find out that there's 12-step for sex addiction. They ask, isn't that really just a place to hook up with other people that have sex addiction? Like it's this like super fun orgy at like 7 o'clock on a Wednesday morning? No. Okay. People used to ask me when I was in 12-step and I was the only woman in the program for people with sex addiction, they would say, isn't that scary to be in this room with dozens of men with sex addiction? And I would say, I don't know. I've never been in a room with dozens of men with sex addiction. I've been in rooms with dozens of men working really fucking hard to recover from sex addiction. I've been in that room. And is that scary? No. 12-step meetings of any variety aren't to go find ways to get the quote unquote drug of choice, right? You wouldn't think of going to a Cocaine Anonymous meeting to find a dealer, right? You would expect to find people who want to recover from the use of cocaine. Same thing, y'all. I don't know how many times I'm going to need to say this, but apparently a lot. Sex addiction is no different than any other area, except maybe that it gets down to like the core of things and who we are. But it shows up just like every other area of addiction, and so does recovery. So if you walk into a room and it's a healthy meeting, and in all areas of 12-step, there are unhealthy meetings, but if you walk into a 12-step meeting for sex addiction, you're going to find people who are doing the hardest work you're ever going to encounter, unless maybe you come over and do self-mastery work with me. But people that are just like completely opening up their wounds and scraping out all of the rotting, festering flesh that's gotten infected and cleaning it out properly and dressing it and then letting like a really cool scar cover that place, right? Like if they're doing the program well, that's what they're doing. People who have blown up their lives and are doing everything they can to get back into integrity. People who have some of the like toughest trauma you're ever going to hear about that are facing it. They're looking at it and healing it and saying like, I am not showing up well in life. I'm kind of showing up like a real asshole and I don't want to do that anymore. Or I don't feel in alignment with who I really am. I actually have no idea who I am and I'm totally out of control of my behavior. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. That's who you find in 12-step rooms. It's not an orgy. It's not a place to hook up. Of all my years that I was in 12-step, I only encountered 2 people that approached me in that way. And they were both brand new to the program and they did not have sobriety and they didn't know what they were doing and they were still in active addiction. That is it. I have known hundreds of men and several women as well, not quite as many, but quite a few at this point with sex addiction who are in recovery, and they desperately want to recover and be well and show up well in life. That's who you're finding in those rooms. And just a note as well, like there are some places, churches specifically, who won't allow 12-step meetings for sex addiction because of this, or if they are co-ed, men and women, they won't allow them because they think that it's some kind of like disco nightclub with people hooking up. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Like, what's kind of like the thinking there? Like, here you have this room and there's like all these chairs in a circle and they do the serenity prayer and then everybody just like gets naked and like, what, honest to God, think about this. Like, that's what we think is happening. Like, that's what church leaders think is happening. Another sign of just how misinformed and ill-informed we are around sex addiction. But yes, short answer, yes, there are 12-step meetings for sex addiction with varying degrees of success and focus and all of these things. You can Google that, 12-step for sex addiction. You'll get all of the resources, I'm sure. Is it a place to hook up? No. If you want to hook up and you're looking for someone who's unwell to hook up with, like, go into the rest of the world. Like, go to the bars, go to the apps, you'll feel the energy, like, go there. 12-step recovery and recovery in general isn't a place to find those people. So bummer. That'd be cool if we were all in one place, but it's not what that's for. And check out the other video around 12-step and why I've stepped away from it if you want more info on kind of the different options as well. I hope this has been helpful for you and answered that question sufficiently. I will be answering more questions in videos to come, so stick around. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. And of course, we have that free resource coming up right when I stop talking, which is going to be right now. I love you a ton. Stay curious. Hello again. I am super psyched to get this resource to you for free. I have taken one of my all-time favorite workshops to give in person and condensed it down to a short online little mini course that you can take at your own convenience right now to learn how to go from powerless to empowered, not just with regard to addiction, but your whole life. It is free. It is available now on my website. Just click the link below to get instant access to that at no cost to you. I'll see you over there.